Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Expert Division in the Origin 9 Hole Cup. The video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. And before we start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and also visit golfclashtommy.com for more Golf Clash related content. Last but not least, make sure you become a member on patreon.com/golfclashtommy, link in the description down below. There you find our Ultimate Tournament text guide, which is the best guides on the market. This is going to be a difficult tournament, but there is drops and on more than 50% of the holes in this playthrough, so I hope that's going to help you out. I have been using 2 special balls in this playthrough to be able to, focus on those a little bit as well. And make sure if you do have any question, let me know in the comment section below, because I'm here to help. Use the info box on the right hand side for the elevation for all the shots, but also for what type of club and ball I think is going to be key when you're playing a specific hole. In the end, thank you so much for watching, and let's go to hole number 1. For hole number 1 here in Expert, we are going to use a special ball, Wind 5 Power 1. I'm going to start with the top of the yellow ring just by the edge of the rough with the ball guideline to the hole. Once we have done that, we go and use a 3.5 bar backspin and make sure that the ball guideline go approximately 1 green square through the hole. Now for the adjustment, we are going to play minimum distance with no elevation with a slight 1159 pull angle. Just a tiny bit. I just wanted to tick center left. That's the only thing that we're looking for. And then obviously hit perfect. The ball then is going to travel, it's gonna clip the rough, and it's gonna roll and get ourselves a nice little start. Even though we just took the edge there, but I'll take that all day and every day for a nice hole in 1 on hole 1. For hole number 2, we are going to play on the right side. It's not often that I do recommend the right side, but I do think there is a big benefit from doing so this time, and that is due to the wind. I'm trying to play with the rock here using 5 bars topspin and 1 bar of side spin to the right. And kind of the game plan is that I do want to get ourselves as close to the rough at top possible, because the closer we get, the better wind angle we're going to have for the second shot. But obviously, it's not the end of the world if we go short. We're still going to have a very good opportunity from distance. Maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment. And I would like to say that if you do not have a rock that has 5 bars of topspin, I would recommend you to go over to either the Extra Mile, Apocalypse, or the Thor's Hammer, because it doesn't really matter what driver we are using. But if we do have the possibility with the rock, we do have a good accuracy and a good ball guideline. Now, second shot from 359 yards. We are going to play this one in between minimum and medium distance. So to give you a slider number would be 25%. I'm using 3 bars of left spin here, trying to align it a little bit more with the wind angle. Not, entirely, because I don't like to use a lot of spin, but I'm trying to at least give myself a little bit of help. Perfect ball, we bounce on the fairway and we come in and we just take the right edge. We snuck it in there on the right edge, meaning that we could actually reduce the adjustment just with 1 decimal, which would be approximately 20% with the thorn. So in the end, this is an absolute must eagle. Like, it doesn't really matter what we are thinking, we need to have an eagle here. You have a possibility to go green directly, but I personally will play with my short iron, as for this short amount of time as a tournament, there is going to be different type of wind angles, obviously trying to go for green on the left hand side, and that's going to be hard to dial that one in enough so we know that we're going to be on green or very close to green every single time. So that's why this is my main option on hole number 2. For hole number 3, we're going to have the first of the difficult holes here. And the thing is, we do want to play with an Apocalypse as a driver. Reason we do want to play with Apocalypse is due to its curl. I'm playing here in the end with too much topspin in my opinion. I'm changing, around from 3 to 4 to 5. going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But the important part though is that we do in the end decide for one spin adjustment. You can see that I'm playing with 3 bars of topspin here. We're going to push up our target a little bit in the end. 1 ring is the estimation there. And then we're going to make max curl with our club, and then obviously try to hit perfect. The great right will obviously push our ball more to the right, and we're noticing that here with the ball's position on the fairway. But in the end, you know, this is kind of a perfect position. One thing that I do need to like continue with when it comes to the drive, that even if you would be having an Apocalypse level 1, then you play with Apocalypse level 1. I would also be able to say that you could be playing with an Extra Mile level 9. But then in the end, in my opinion, Apocalypse is gonna go before every other club. One other thing that you can do is to use a Berserker Ball and play with the rock. But in the end, if you do have an Apocalypse, use an Apocalypse and a Kingmaker. That will be the best. Second shot, we play with a long iron. And here, this is going to be, you know, a shot where we're going to use approximately 1 to 1.5 bar backspin. Also using 1 bar of right spin to kind of compensate a little bit for the wind push. Trying to aim so we can like visualize the ball guideline on the right side of the pin. Adjusting here maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment, and here I would say that a perfect ball is very, very valuable. You know, a great right will be difficult for us. You know, we will be very close to the bunker. We get a nice little bounce there, coming in and again, you know, taking like a, what was that, a 720 in the hole for an albatross. Again, we were in max distance position of the Goliath, so if we do find ourselves in that spot again, this shot should be fairly easy to replicate. But again, the key, Apocalypse with your driver to get yourself into position for the second shot. For hole number 4, we're going to use a club that we normally don't use, so we're gonna get to the Tsunami in just a bit. I'm using 5.8 topspin, which is the maximum of an Apocalypse level 5, and then also 3 bars of side spin to the right. The thing that we do need to have in mind here is that we are going to play with the driver that gives us the most distance. But at the same time, if we do not have an Apocalypse level 5, or we might be having a wind that is above 8 miles per hour, I would suggest one of the 2 things. 1, we play with a power 4 wind 3 ball. In a worst case scenario, we go up and play with a power 5 that is a wind 3, wind 2 ball, something like that. This to get over the rough and the sand without having any issues. So you can play with basically whatever club, but really pay attention to the fact that if you don't have 240 yards, you need to compensate to play with a better ball here on this one to be able to get over the rough and the sand and you know, without risking a lot. Second shot is played without any elevation, and here we're going to play the Tsunami. And the reason I'm playing the Tsunami is to really use its topspin, and you are having a lot of backspin. You are having a lot of backspin already in a low level of the Tsunami. If you don't have the Tsunami, you can look into the Grim Reaper, you can look into the Saturn, but you still need to have at least 80 in backspin to have a good chance here. Now using all the backspin, I'm aiming pretty high above the pin. This because we do have a headwind and we're going to have a compressed ball guideline, so we do need to think about that. Now I'm playing medium distance numbers, and the thing that I'm getting is I'm getting the rollback as I want to, but I'm a little bit too much to the left. But at the same time, on this very tough par 4, that we can have a chance, even though it's a tiny chance with Tsunami, that is going to be, you know, so valuable compared to, you know, our opponents to have that advantage to them. So Tsunami, pick that club or the Grim Reaper or the Saturn and make sure you give yourself an opportunity here. But once again, I cannot stress enough how important it is to really be focused on your drive to adapt to the situation depending on what equipment you are having. Let's move on to hole number 5, and here I'm going to keep a Kingmaker as I do want side spin 3, and I also want power 3. so both of them place together. Here I'm looking for 0.2 top spin and max left spin, and I'm looking for the tip of the ball guideline to go across the dark green square row. I'm gonna take this one from the beginning as well, so we can keep that in mind when we're looking at the top of the ball guideline once I've added spin. So we're gonna add spin first, then we're looking for the tip of the ball guideline, just going through the dark green square row with the red ring by the rough line. And if you do have a sniper level 10, you are starting at +10. But the most important part to look at is the red ring, and it's also the tip of the ball guideline. Now I'm going to adjust for a maximum distance with a 40% over adjustment, which is 11.9 rings. But looking at this one now afterwards, seeing ourselves missing this one still to the right, as we're not having the kickback as we want to. It's not far away, but still not being that close to, still not getting it in the hole. So I would like us to actually play 45% over adjustment instead. So I hope you're listening to my explanation. So we're changing that elevation to 45. Make sure when you are making your pull that you're pulling with a 1201 pull angle. So you're pulling yourself a bit more away from the rough. In the end, good chance here on hole 5 on this very tough par 3. Hole number 6, the most difficult hole that we do have in the tournament, and here we are definitely going to see some players missing out on the eagle. First, I'm going to use 6 bars of topspin, that's what I'm looking for. And now, after we're added that, we're looking for the second bounce. Second bounce to just be before the rough, and also pointing over the left edge of the bunker. So this shot you don't have to use with an Apocalypse level 5 for. You can use a lower level club. You can also use extra mile, Thor's hammer, but the most important part is to, use the spin, 6 bars, and then find the position. Don't use more than 6 bars, in my opinion, as then you risk to get a massive roll on the other side, and then we'll roll into the rough. 10% over adjustment, maximum distance numbers. Then you take your shot without any curling. You can see the ball bounce on the fairway, bounce just by the rough, and then roll a fair bit. We can push it harder, but once again, we need to be aware of the fact that there is a very glitchy roll on that fairway. So if we push it too hard, we roll into the rough. It's better to have a little margin so we can counteract the glitch and then still have an opportunity reaching for the green in 2, even though it's going to be difficult. Now, here, I'm using max side spin right. I'm also using 6 bars of top spin, looking for the second bounce to be very high up into the rough. But it's going to be difficult. We adjust maximum distance, no elevation, and then we're going to have to apply a little bit of overpower. And the overpower here is going to be all from a little bit to, a lot, depending on how far you're reaching with your driver. A little counter curl there to the right, as we do have a rough that slopes right to left. We see the ball coming in pretty nicely into the rough, but we don't have the speed enough to roll out from the rough. Now this rough iron shot is not hard, as we are very close to the pin, but we should obviously not be there. So what can you do in the end to give yourself, a better chance to get the eagle in an easier way? Change the ball. Use another power 5 ball that do have like a power 5, wind 2 or wind 3. Because side spin here is not really super important. You have to obviously think about it for the second shot. But you're going to have an easier time for the second shot. You are going to have an easier time for the drive, as well as the wind is going to be less. So that is one thing to think about. But in my book, this is going to be purely an eagle. Nothing else is what I'm looking for, especially when we just have a few days to dial it in. We are going to start this hole by actually trying to go for green. The ultimate wind here, in my opinion, is going to be 12 miles per hour. That you can achieve with a Berserker or with a Liberty, a Snow Globe or something like that. 6 top spin, full blast, and don't hit double great right. If you do hit double great right, you're gonna be in the rough or into the sand on the right hand side. But you can see that we are going to have no problem to actually reach over. The thing with this type of shot is that you're going to be in 99 times out of 100, you're going to be into the rough or into the sand. You're going to have to clip the rough, or you clip the rough in some sort at just at the, you know, above the sand to be able to get that ball to stop on the fairway area. So you're going to have to decide, do you want to do that and have a rough iron or a sandwich towards pin, or do you want to lay up and have a straight tailwind short iron approach? I obviously going to choose the short iron approach because I feel consistency with that, and also I'm absolutely terrible from the rough and the sand. So we're going to take a look at that, and we're obviously going to go and change the ball because we're going to play with a kingmaker. We do need the side spin 3, and we do want to have power 3. So I'm playing from a +8 yard mark, which is going to be not an entirely max distance with Apocalypse, but it's going to be the max distance of an extra mile or a Thor's hammer. Using 6 bars of topspin, max side spin, and we're using the 4th ring by the rough line to the right. But again, depending on what type of driver, you're going to have to you know, adjust your position slightly. But Apocalypse is the club to play with, no matter if you have it in level 1 or level 8, because we do need the curl. The curl is going to be max, no matter what Apocalypse you're having. Max curl right, and you're going to get yourself to bounce on the fairway down to as far down as possible. 398 yards is a good yardage. That is going to leave ourselves up with a short iron to the pin. And here I'm going to play this one medium distance of our club with a 20% over adjustment. I'm using spin to pin, so I'm basically adapting backspin based on how far I am. But make sure that the ball guideline is in the hole. If you do not have a Thorn level 8 plus or like a Hornet level 8 plus, you need to leave the ball guideline a little bit short of pin due to not having a fully developed ball guideline. We do adjust, and then it's time to take our shot. And here is obviously the difficult part with this type of shot. You need to hit perfect, otherwise you're not gonna get it in. But if you do hit perfect, you're gonna see yourself making an eagle here more times than not. So this is my way of playing, or like this is the way that I will be playing. But again, I wanted to show you the more aggressive way of playing as a start, and talk about the positive part and the negative part with that as well. For hole number 8, I want to really advise you to play with a Win 5 side spin 3 power 1 ball. We do have Daruma, we do have Feather Ball, which is 2 of them. If you don't have that type of ball, then a Centurion would work as well. And also, otherwise, obviously, whatever side spin 3 ball you might want to use. But obviously, a Win 5 ball will be a major difference in terms of reducing the win to a more, capable win to adjust for. That's what I was trying to say. Unfortunately, a great left, and we're going to go back and talk about the adjustment after we see this great ball go in the hole. Obviously a little bit lucky to get that one in the hole, but we do need to think about the fact that we did misadjust as well. We did play medium distance with a 30% over adjustment. We do want to play maximum distance with a 30% over adjustment, power 1 ball setting, power 1 ball number. So this is going to be a difficult hole, but absolutely a possible one. And to just look at the position real quick, we want to add spin first, half a backspin and max side spin right. And now we're looking for the first and foremost, we're looking for the second bounce to be just like in the center, or like in the middle in between in terms of bunker position, and then the second bounce just on the fringe. That's where we're gonna start. But getting a different reference is going to be difficult, as we don't really have any way, anywhere that is going to be close to position our target with, the rings. But in the end, great ball in the hole is always nice. But if we tweak and change from mid 30 to max 30, we are still going to have a possibility dropping this one more times. For the final hole in this playthrough, we play hole number 9, and here I'm going to play right-hand side, as I do believe that's going to be the best chance for us to making an albatross. It's 5.8 topspin, which is the maximum of an Apocalypse level 5, combined with as much side spin to the right possible as well. And now we're going to start at +8, which is not in entirely max distance, so a little bit less than max distance, with a blue ring by the rough. The thing that we do need to have in mind here, that we do need a lot of curl. So it's either going to be Apocalypse level 1+, or the rock, or the quarterback. But if you're gonna play with the quarterback, I would suggest you to play with a power 4 or a power 5 ball, so you do not have to overpower your shot. Even with a great ball, we're gonna have no issues here, and this fairway is very forgiving. So we can hit, you know, we basically wherever. It kind of summons it all together. So if you come into the left hand side of fairway, we're gonna find ourselves the ball rolling into the right, and that's the same if we go up to the right side of it. But from there, we are going to have a sniper towards the pin, and now it's all about finding a position that is, you know, valuable for us. There is little bumpy places there, but I'm trying to go with a little bit of left spin here, 5 left spin, 1 and a click back spin, leaving the ball guideline slightly short, and you can see with white ring by the bunker, but most especially the ball guideline to the hole. Now I'm adjusting maximum distance numbers without any type of elevation, and the reason I'm adjusting max instead of, you know, adjusting less than the max, because we are not in max distance, is due to the fact that we do want to compensate for the wind push that we are going to have. Ball coming in very nicely towards the pin, but that great ball really destroyed. With a perfect ball, it's actually pretty interesting to see how that one would have went. So we play right side, Apocalypse as a driver if possible, the rock and the quarterback as backup, and then we adjust max +10, and then second shot sniper, aim at the pin, adjust max with no elevation. Thank you so much everybody for watching this playthrough for Expert, with drops on hole 1, 2, 3, and we do have drop on 7 and 8 as well, and hole 8 with a great shot. But in the end, you know, a good playthrough, something to really work with. I do believe that we're going to see people win with -14s in general, maybe squeaking in a -13 with a very good tiebreaker if you do have a lucky bracket. Make sure you study, make sure you ask questions if you have them, and most especially get the guides where these shots, or especially the ones that I do really believe is, you know, those are gonna go into the Ultimate Tournament text guide, which will be out for the mini tournament for all the patrons. Link to patreon.com/GolfClashTommy is in the description down below. Video sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. Thank you so much once again, and good luck in the 9-hole cup.